Hi guys, it's me, just listening again, and for this video that I will be dedicating to the Sonic SatAM vlogs, I shall be covering episode 9 of season 1 of this great show, with the name of the episode being Sonic's Nightmare. And it's basically, Sonic has a bad dream about something bad happening to his friend or someone that he cares about. And it's a recurring dream, and I've had similar experiences where I'd be walking around, regularly walking around, and then all of a sudden I'd be attacked by a rabbit meatloaf run amok. So I have to keep running, and this thing keeps chasing me around everywhere, every which way I go, until it finally kills me. So isn't that pleasant? So this episode has quite a few references to the games, if you can believe that, and a few little animation quirks to it. Like, for example, they have one part where they have a quirk with Anton de Colette, as well as Dr. Robotnik with his deep voice, which I can't do right now, but it'd be fun. It'd be real fun if I could meet the guy that voiced Robotnik to have him do a snivelly, voice. That'd be real fun. Plus, I want to know how he got roped into doing that voice, when everybody knows him for like Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and all that, nice good guy characters, for little kids and stuff. How the hell did he get roped into doing Robotnik? A very deep, sinister character. The only thing he's gotten into was Negaduck from the Dogwing Duck show. Even though it wasn't that far off from doing Dogwing Duck itself, the hero of the show. Anyway, I'll talk about that some other day, but right now, this show is awesome. So like I said, it's a few references to the games, as well as, I forgot what issue it was, but there was a definite tie-in to one of the Arch comics, where the character in question that Sonic keeps having a bad dream about, a recurring bad dream about, actually transformed into a robot, a la, the Roboticizer. And, it's very cool the way you show it. They show it very, like her screaming in the pod there, but they show it like as it happens, like bit by bit. So it's not like a flash and she's already transformed into a robot. She's like kicking and screaming as it's gradually turned into a robot. So I would imagine that'd be pretty cool if one of your family members or friends were to be transformed into a robot very slowly, and I'm assuming painfully too. But anyway, let's talk about Sonic running around and stuff, and then showing a beautiful view of Los Angeles with all the smog involved. Not really, that's Robocop being covered in miasma of smog and pollution, all that stuff, as it compared to the nice, peaceful surrounding area of Knuckle Village and the Great Forest, etc. With Princess Sally talking about how much Sonic is a dimwit. I think, where were you when the brains were hinted at? Or this other talk. So, the first thing that didn't that they have in here is a reference to Mega Muck. That'd be, I guess, like a acid or pollution filled rain that falls on the earth and mixes with dirt to make like a super reactive mud. And Sonic gets stuck in it. He can't move around and stuff in it. Now, this is the first reference to one of the games. That'd be Sonic 2. I don't know if they use it in any other game, but it's probably in Sonic 2 in the chemical plant zone. Because even though you can move around in that fine, albeit slowly, it's still considered Mega Muck that would kill you in like how many seconds, like 20 seconds. I'm gonna say, let's get out of it. Then you hear that lovely timer of like you're gonna die soon. That 5-second timer. A PTSD inducing sound effect. So anyway, they show that he's gotta go rescue the princess because she's being held in another castle. So he's gotta go across the bridge to go rescue her. Now, I find this very interesting. So we never actually shown how Robotnik or the robots or simply captured Princess S01, but she's being held captive and turned into a robot. Look, we'll get to it. It was very shown on the cover of the comics, in which she's being roboticized, and we never actually showed how the roboticization process actually occurs in this world. The closest we got for it is in Sonic Spinball, when the whirling creatures are put into like a roboticized machine and transformed into the hard case metal robots. It's the bandits. So anyway, they also have a part where Sonic is trying to get over a wooden bridge that obviously collapses and whatnot, depending from his weight. And while that happens, the girl is transformed into a robot. And it's pretty cool. And he wakes up from his nightmare. And I forgot who did the voice for Sally, but she did a very good metallic scream. Was actually pretty nice. Although I gotta say the comics did that better. With all the detail and stuff. But it was pretty nice. Then Sonic tricked it up to being bad cooking that gives them the current nightmare of Sally and the others being transformed into robots. Now, this is all very creepy and very weird, but I would still love it to put that into a video game. The whole dog storyline in the back and taking over the world of Robotnik and stuff, and then the freedom fighters have to beat his ass up. There's some very subtle, environmental goodness, that the environment is good and everything, the Robotnik does the crap. So anyway, this wouldn't exactly be the first time that they mentioned food in this thing, which is quite funny because in the end they referred to chewy dogs, his favorite chewy dog. By the way, I love chewy dogs. I had them as of in the last year or so. They're pretty damn good. So anyway, he wakes up and then they find out this new Robotnik plan to pollute the environment, and therefore find the whole village and the resistance. I guess the idea is that the trees and whatnot cover the entire whole village to switch robotic sensors, and by getting rid of all that stuff, it will lead to the whole village. So they end up done the disguises to infiltrate Newark again, which is basically a giant mechanical blimp that will see the area with ice, rain, and pollution and all that stuff. A more concentrated version of the acid rain, so like 2.0 type thing, and they picked 3 freedom fighters with to go through with this plan. Solid Acorn, Bunny Rabbit, and Antoine de Colette. And it's funny because even though it's not like a complete swap out costume yet, it still scares Tails. I mean, just the head of this robot on I forgot which character it was, but to see the head of the robot is enough to scare Tails into thinking that it's real full-size robot. But I mean, you would think that he's seen enough robots to be able to figure out that it's not really a full thing. Even if we're just a head, it can't do any harm to him. So anyway, they go through with it, and then they infiltrate the blimp idea. This blimp was being transported by robotic to wherever they're gonna launch it from. Now, this is a big problem I think with this plan, because when Robotnik sends out the blimp, he doesn't send it out like within the Robotropolis city limits. He cuts it out to a nice, pristine piece of forest land, and then does test it. If you want to be safe and secure about it, you would do this thing right in right in the city limits, under your own protection, so that any robot can shoot whatever intruders you have there. But no, he had to be very stupid and very audacious about it, and he ended up sending it out right then and right where the train press get their hands on it. So anyway, the guys ended up being captured by the swap bots, because they're kind of stupid in this regard, because they're trying to figure out how to take down the blimp before it gets airborne using a code to decipher something about the code and stuff. And you would think that the swap bots would be able to tell, let's see, there are 6 of us on board this ship before it takes off. What are these additional three bots doing here? You would think that they'd be able to figure out. I mean, when Spaceball did something similar to that, at least the heroes took out 2 of the guards with flame and dragged them away, so that there were 2 people that were missing off the duties, and which Barf and Moonstar took over the 2 spots. But they don't show that, they just show the additional 3 big people, and they end up getting captured while Sonic doing something else. Then he gets stuck in Mega Muck or something. So then they're being captured, and they get put on like a partly an island surrounded by big water. Now eventually this ends up sinking into the water. Now I would like to think that this is like a reference to this sometime, but I believe that it might be like a reference to Aquatic Ruins or some other level in the games. Possibly Marble Garden Zone from Sonic 3. I don't think the game was made yet, or it might have been like brand new, or I think that might not count because it's part of the Angel Island system. And they don't mention Knuckles in this one. I don't think ever in the show. So anyway, 3 vampires are over there on the island. It's kind of like a break around the prison and stop Robot by himself. So so Sonic ends up going into like a chemical plant tubes, like those tubes that hamster tubes, like clear plastic tubes, and it's supposed to be like an ancient civilization because it's kind of quiet, but it shows that this is kind of like a trap for the blue hedgehog because Robotnik tried to shoot him. Well, he didn't tube, he tried to shoot him with like a flaming testicle that can track him. So it's kind of like one of the enemies from not the fireball, but the pokeballs, I think they're called, the fire thing that come up and down. It's not something similar to that. So anyway, he follows him around and whatnot. But the funny is that Sonic actually gets those, does something I didn't think was possible in this universe because the guy that made Sonic didn't know that the hedgehog could swim. So that's why in the other game it's like he drowns easily. So anyway, they show Sonic diving into the water to get rid of this firewall, and then the firewall ends up getting extinguished, which Robotnik ends up surrounding him with the swap box every which way. Now, I like the fact that when Sully and the others are being captured, she's still like very adventurous with Robotnik. She's very you won't get away with this, Yes, she's very sleepy with him. He's very much like an adversary. Even though he's big and he's menacing, he's in your face and that kind of thing. So I like that. So she's quite spunky even though she's getting captured. Much like Princess Leia. So anyway, they have Sonic outnumbered, but then he ends up hopping over everybody like Mario. So he shows that he eventually gets on the island and is about to free all the freedom fighters. Sully, Roger, and Bunny Rabbit. And he had to come with a plan for them, plus, plus down the blimp before and putting out this big payload of a toxic love gas. So, but running it smoothly on the airship, about to jump the payload. And then Sonic gets an idea for how to do it, and you genuinely panic about Sonic, about the nightmare about him not being able to say Sonic in time. And it genuinely does like he's having a big panic attack. Like we'll do if we go stop the decade, or we save our friends. You can't do both. But Sonic finds a way to do it because of this nightmare driving him forward. And it's fun because he ends up using his super speed to burrow underground to use the oil pumps to make a big geyser. And it's funny because, first of all, we never actually see him burrowing in the show, except now, which is a direct reference to Sonic the Hedgehog #1. I don't know if it's called that, but I don't care. And it's very clear that he does that. I don't know if he does that in any of the clutch games. I don't think he does, but I think that there was a revival of that in Sonic Episode 4 and others too. You know, like Generation. And then you burrow down deep, and then you find the oil pump. So then you start up the pump by running on the gears that make them turn real fast. Now this is another reference to scrap brain zone. When you run around the gears, I think it could also be a reference to Metropolis Zone. You get you just in gears, but it's faster with the scrap brain ones. Or Madness for like here. I mean, that would be pretty funny the way that works out with the games. So then they come to the oil ocean, to where it spits out on top of it fills up the blimp cockpit area with Sniffly and with Doug Robotnik. The point that is shorten things out, starts making the blimp cockpit heavy and dragging it down to the point that it crashes. And then Sniffly and Robotnik just barely in time jump out, get in the safety pod and get out just before it crashes. Now this is something I don't like about Robotnik, you know. He was supposed to be a general at one point, and he, you think that he would know certain things and be able to react quickly and stuff, you know, push buttons and send something like that. But no, he just Sniffly, we're gonna crash. You better push button now. You better do this, Sniffly. If something about your life, why don't you do it yourself? It'd be like Donald Trump saying, okay, do this, do that, and do the other to save my skin. But I don't want to do it myself because that would require too much work on my part. You know, it's a lot quicker to actually do it yourself than to rely on other people to do it for you. Trust me, I found that in a much more much less threatening way that, you know, by me telling someone something in under timer, it's a lot quicker if I do it myself. And if I relay the message to somebody else, and they have to take the time to react and do it properly. So anyway, they get off the thinking a Hindenburg reference there. I think it's a Hindenburg reference. They go into stealth mode, and right as Sonic is about to take down, to free the other people, Robotnik given a choice to either kill with a missile, which I don't think it will work anyway. Sonic is really fast, and I don't know if a missile can work with him and stuff. or get away from everything, because Snoop's even says there's malfunction going on with the keyboard and with the control device and everything, so even if a button does push a button, they could be doomed anyway, which I like his hesitation with it, because it was very, very, very tempting for a robot to push a button and kill the hedgehog once for all. So we're like, and then this is with the animation error comes in for Robotnik. It's like, basically gets about to kill somebody. So he pushes the button. After many hesitations, it's like, with the kaboom, with the earth-shattering kaboom, it was the wrong choice, because he ends up having to try to get away from everything with Snowflake, and it turned out that there was a whole big malfunction of everything with this ship. Because in the process of going down with the Zeppelin, he almost perished because of malfunctions and stuff. So that was pretty funny. He would actually pick destroying his arch nemesis over his own safety. That's just kind of talking about how much Robotnik wants him dead. You know, you want your nemesis dead so much that you value that over you saving your own ass. And the ass of your nephew too. So anyway, by the end of the show, it's kind of like by the end of the episode, it's kind of like ambiguous whether Robotnik and Snowflake got away from the island before it blew up and sunk under the water. But next episode, Robotnik get back in so many things, but thinking of a good scheme to get rid of the hedgehog and company. So it's pretty besides, if you know that, there'll be much more episodes to go. So yeah, by that logic, you know, the main bad guy and the lackey would survive to fight another day. So anyway, they have Sully and the other two in the electric cage, and they want not to touch it, but yet they have to escape. But they all drown, and Anton can't swim, which is kind of stupid, because if you're in a cage and it gets surrounded by water, you drown anyway, regardless of whether you can swim or not. So anyway, Sonic ends up digging into his backpack and getting a power ring so that he can possibly absorb all the energy in the cage or sort it out. So Sully says that that's not the plan. You have to have a plan to get us out of here. But I get to myself, that's desperation, yeah. What else gonna do? This is the plan, Sonic says. And, then doing it, he ends up giving the ring to Sally to use on the team field. But, what been really sweet is Sonic had made with Sally to hold her hand and provide support for using, but I get he wanted to save that for the others because she's holding the ring like this against the bars, and she can't do it alone. Hold on to it alone. It's great. It really does warm up my soul to see this. But they had Antoine and Bunny help her out. The power of friendship. And it's really quite nice because Antoine is a coward, but in the duties to protect his friend and is a princess, he will do whatever it takes to do that. Even if it means not being a little coward. So it's kind of sweet that he was the first one to actually help her out. That and the fact that if he didn't do that, they all would have died anyway. So, big support. I prefer that he was doing it for chivalry, to be clear, to help out his princess and Bunny. They in playing this one, there'd be kind of like a romantic thing going on, where, because she referred to him as sweet and cute and all that. In the comics, they do go further with that. They show that Antoine does end up kissing Bunny at one point, and she's, oh my stars. So there is some romantic thing going on between them too, which is something in the comics. But anyway, they end up getting out of the prison, and it's kind of weird because after the ring absorbs all the power from the bars, they end up showing the top half of the prison disappearing too. I don't know if that was the thing they meant for in the show, but it was kind of weird. So they have the whole island swimming into the water, which is weird because in the other little shots they show like surrounded by the water, but then they have land around that. So it's kind of like the Down Cathedral on the little island surrounded by Paris. But in the actual when they show it sinking, you don't actually show it in the land. You show it like a land and then the island, then open ocean. So that's kind of weird the way you do that. So it really is like aliens, I guess. So they show that they use Sonic and the power ring to actually use across the fallen ruins to make a bridge to the opposite side of the ground. And when they imply that we're about to get destroyed forever, I already dismissed that originally, and they showed that Sonic rescues their friends by using super speed, not the belt move, but the super speed. And but wait, that super figure eight shot would be real awesome in this show, but they don't do that. The slackers. So anyway, they show all that, and then they show that Sonic and Sonic sent back, so their faces don't have to slip in the mud all day. And they showed Sonic saying to Sally, that you're the love of my life. I can't think of that. I can't live without you. And whenever I think about you, my heart throbs. And meanwhile, Sally's thinking that he's talking about her. Red in the face and hot and bothered and everything. Meanwhile, he's just talking about two dogs. So it's nice to know that he got over his recurring nightmares, and then knew about silly like toy dogs running through loops, going into special stages, and the nightmares will just start up again when he realized that his future involves a bunch of drug trafficking games with guns, with realistic graphics, where you can play chess, all the nightmarish stuff that you can only imagine. Yeah, I would definitely would recommend this episode if anyone wants to see this episode, because it's very references to the games and the comics. It's such a pretty fun. It's a pretty fun thing to have. Anyway, I thank you for watching my episode review of episode 9 of season 1 of this great show, Sonic SatAM. It's awesome. The name of the episode is Sonic Nightmares. Nightmare. And this is awesome. This thing called the animation. Oh yeah, by the way, the animation with Anton do the same kissing motion as Robotnik. When finally went to hit that jug. And yeah, I definitely give this episode a happy face. Silver Pool, because it's freaking awesome as well. So, if you like what you see here and you want to see more of my videos, then would like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can also contact me by finding out about my information my future videos by calling me or typing me at 631-707-3707. If you want to get my Facebook at just Holland Cena, or get my Instagram at JJ Maelstrom. Or if you want, you can get my email at jjsviewingtower@gmail.com. I will put all that in the description below as my my socials go. And yeah. I absolutely went like this show, like the Hedgehog, like anything to do with Robotnik. This show is awesome, or any animation, whatever. peace out, my brothers and sisters. I'll see you in the next video. All you girls and guys in internet land. Sayonara, Shalom, Talk off now, guys.